Oh man, Teelee is scary.
It's getting hot.
Boom, let's go. Boom, let's go.
Hey everybody, so this is Teelee Tekken Lessons. Chapter 1, Movement. Key factor to winning in Tekken is speed. And to have extremely quick speed and quick speed reaction time, you have to have very strong movement, which means characters have very strong backdashing, such as Samina, my character, or Eddie Gordo, or whoever. Backdashing is very important. Some people don't care about backdashing, or they don't know exactly how to master backdashing, but it is important. So Korean backdashing is literally back, down, back, repeatedly. And you have to keep doing it. It's like a mental exercise. I suggest anybody who wants to get Korean backdashing down to a T, just get in the lab or get in practice mode and just practice the input every day. Literally every day. Because eventually over time, you're going to start seeing you moving quicker. And on top of that, if you do it repeatedly enough and you pretty much get the pattern, you will start seeing speed in your performance. Not only will you move quicker, your speed reaction time in the game will improve as well, as you'll be able to react quicker to what your opponent is doing. If you're moving faster than your opponent, not only will it be hard for them to pinpoint what you're doing, but also it'll be easy for you to, pinpoint your opponent because you're moving quicker than them. So there's that. And on top of that, if you could pretty much move quick with backdashing, you also move extremely quick with either sidestepping or sidewalking. So yes, those are the basic things you really have to know when it comes to Tekken is movement. It's very, very important because if you move quick, if you understand when exactly your opponent's going to hit you or try to beat you, you can stop. So yes, we understand that Tekken 8 is well known for being extremely aggressive. That's its play style. But I'm not here to teach you Tekken 8 Tekken. I'm here to teach you Tekken. As like any sport, like soccer, basketball, whatever you play, you must balance out your offense as much as your defense. People like, oh, but this game's match friendly. Yeah, but still defense is important because it's still a Tekken game. And on top of that, you do not want to miss your opportunity of punishing and getting free hits. That's literally what punishing is. So Tekken in general is basically like rock, paper, scissors. And pretty much, you want to try to figure out the quickest move that'll beat your opponent, right? But also, when it comes to defense, if your opponent doesn't move you're familiar with, they know you could block, or you feel like it's not safe as they're throwing out a bad move, right? You could punish it. So punishing means like if they throw a move at you, so for example, a little tip for people still new to Tekken. Every high, if a string in the game has a high, they can be ducked. If you duck it, you can either hit them or get a free launch off of it, which can lead to a combo. Perfect example, that's a punish. So to block in general in the game, you either hold back or don't press anything. And if you want to punish a move, usually, for example, if a lot of lows are unsafe, even on my character, Samia has a lot of lows that are unsafe. Not many people know that, but she does. So if you were to successfully, for example, block a low, you could either get a free hit or a free launcher off that. That's pretty much defense, as don't miss your opportunity of getting free hits or free full combo when you're defending. That is important. And my personal advice and tip, it's not the aggressive players that are the most dangerous, it's the most patient ones. Sometimes the ones with strong defense, the most patient players are the most dangerous. So be careful. So counter hits are extremely, very, very important in Tekken. It's actually one of the main key factors to helping you win the game in general. Because people may not know it, but I usually win majority of my matches because of counter hits. And counter hits are scary. They're actually very scary. And people mistake, when a player is being very aggressive in Tekken 8, right? They mistake it for being over aggressive or just mashing. That's how they call it. But no. Counter hits is pretty much your normal hits, like your normal moves in the game, right? To become more enhanced or to become stronger. And by stronger, when you do a counter hit, pretty much the counter hit could either set the opponent up, or you could combo off the opponent altogether. How you get the counter? Simple. They have to swing at you. As pretty much the key to Tekken, besides movement, is timing. If you can sense when the opponent's gonna start hitting buttons, right, or if they're just moving just a little bit, if they're moving, that's actually your leeway to go for the counter hit. So as long as they're moving, it means they're not blocking. They're actually leaving themselves open the more they move, which is very dangerous and scary. And basically, if you could get the counter hit, it gives you leeway to either make your attack stronger, or you could juggle them into a combo. And you can potentially win the game off that, depending on how long your combos are or how strong you are anyway in the game. So a normal hit, difference between a normal hit and counter hit. So a normal hit is, it hurts a little bit, but doesn't really do anything. But counter hit, if it hurts a lot. A counter hit, that's what really drains your health away. And not only that, if you manage to get the counter hit in right, like I said, it could potentially turn into a juggle combo that could extremely hurt your opponent, or just win the game. So yeah, that's counter hits. And yes, every character in Tekken has counter hits, and some are stronger than others, but you'll pick on quickly if you really start studying counter hits. So yes, learn counter hits. It's very, very important. And if you need help figuring out where you can study counter hits, just go to the player settings. Yeah, it's player settings, player counter, and then let's get started. Turn on counter hit. And Pressure in Tekken 8 in general is literally offense. It doesn't just apply to Tekken 8. It's always been like that throughout majority of the whole Tekken games. Pressure is literally just offense. That's that. Offense. Anyway, so when it comes to Tekken 8, there's multiple ways to go about pressuring your opponent. Being very aggressive and make your opponent get nervous or freeze up against you. So you could poke them to death, which is basically poking is you have your regular strings, right, in the game, your regular sequences of button inputs, but to throw your opponent off, you don't finish your strings. You actually do small little strings here and there. It's basically small Tekken. So you do small little strings here and there, but on top of that, you can also mix it up, which keeps your opponent guessing, which is what Tekken 8 is known for anyway. And that's what really confuses your opponents. If you have a character who will literally poke you to death, or your opponent to death, right, it becomes a major problem. So poking is another way to go about it. And then there's also counter hits, which I discussed in the last video. Counter hits, self-explanatory. Counter hits is what really builds up your damage. And if you manage to open your opponent up with a counter hit, it leads to a damaging combo, or just losing because they keep pressing buttons and they're not blocking. So there's that. So there's poking, counter hits, and also, if you want, there's also guard breaks. We'll talk about that in the next chapter. There's also there's so much to go along with Tekken. Oh yeah, and of course combos. Like, we cannot forget about combos. If you don't have combos, I don't know. Just kidding. But yes, combos are very important too, because there's characters with very damaging combos. And then you got mix-ups, characters with stances. There's so many ways to go about pressure. But if you pretty much grasp the idea of how your character really works, and you definitely work on your offense and understand pressure in the game in general, and when to attack as well as when to not attack so you don't get hit, you'll go extremely far in Tekken 8. So we, as in me and Pikachu, we covered offense, we covered defense, we covered small Tekken, we covered Tekken in general. Now we're just going to break it down to Tekken 8 Tekken. And the difference between Tekken 8 Tekken is Tekken 8 Tekken, so what people know of it stereotypically, which is, straight aggression or mashing. But Tekken is playing Tekken fundamentally, as how Tekken is usually been. Despite it being aggressive, Tekken is still Tekken. But yeah, we're going to discuss the Tekken 8 mechanics that make Tekken 8 Tekken 8. Everyone knows already about the heat system. So you can activate heat with whoever you got your button to activate heat, or There's certain moves in the game that activates heat automatically if you hit your opponent with the move. And everybody knows during heat, it becomes very dangerous because the player has to guess what you're going to do after that. If they mess up, that could literally cost you the whole game. Especially when every character in Tekken 8 has heat, and they become extremely dangerous. And you also have characters who every character also has a heat dash, which is basically if they hit you during heat and they dash, they could pretty much continue their combos to finish you off. So yeah, he's very dangerous. Everyone knows this, for people who play Tekken in general. So there's heat. And then they also have guard breaks, which is another problem. Not every character has a guard break, but certain characters like Steve, Paul, whoever, yeah, guard breaks are dangerous because if you just sit there or you don't know what they're going to do, they can automatically hit you out of your blocking and get free hits off of you. So yeah, guard breaks is another thing you have to watch out for in Tekken 8. I know Fakaram is coming back, and fun fact, in Tekken 7, Fakaram was temporarily banned early in the game because he was the first character to play Tekken 8 before Tekken 8 was a thing, as he already had a guard break, and none of the other characters really in Tekken 7 had a guard break. So that's another problem. Then you also have to worry about power crushes, which is pretty much armor. And who has the best power crush in the game? King. Because you can really touch King once King gets his power crush game going on. So yeah, power crushing is just armor. So if you tend to try to hit your opponent, but they have like a little shield, temporary shield, if you try and hit them, they can hit you back. And you lose health, and on top of that, other things can happen once they get their power crush scheme going on. So there's that. And a little tip, if you have a hard time trying closing on your opponent, if they're, backdashing and trying to get away from you with certain characters like Alyssa or whoever, every character has a way to close on their opponent. Such as Mishima's, they have wave dashing, people who just, they have certain ranges, like my character, Samina. She's kind of like an all-around character now in Season 2, where she could just close in on you whenever she wants. Including Alyssa, there's multiple ways to close in on your opponent. And of course, we cannot forget about Rage Arts. Rage Arts has always been a thing since Tekken 7. So, Rage Arts, of course, is pretty much every character's ultimate attack in the game. Similar to like Street Fighter, in a sense. It's basically a well-known 2D mechanic where characters have an ultimate in the game. But Rage Arts are only activated when your health is blinking red, which gets you into Rage. And Rage has always been a thing in Tekken in general. So when it comes to Rage, you can either use it to combat, because that's when your moves actually start hurting people more, because you're in Rage. It takes off more health. But instead of doing that, Tekken 8 now, since Tekken 7 has Rage Art, so instead of just coming back with just hitting people, you could just finish your opponent off with ultimate move. Everybody has it in the game. So there's that. Or you can even combo into your Rage Art, but when you combo into your Rage Art, it doesn't do as much damage compared to when you just do it without a combo. So there's Rage Arts, and then of course we got the the tornado little combo system. It's similar to like Tekken 7 Screw Attack, but it's not a Screw Attack for people who play Tekken 7. So tornado combos are just combos that extend and keep your combos going. So yeah, it's pretty much Tekken 8 in a nutshell. So for this final chapter, we're going to discuss the character you want to play with, character types. Because when people are getting into Tekken or new to the game, they have a hard time deciding what character they want to play with. So let's break it down to different types. So first off, you want to play with a character who's evasive, who can pretty much dodge everything. Play with my character, Samina, or Xiao Yu, or Steve. If you want to play a character who you like to grapple with, play King, or even Armor King, because Armor King's coming back. Armor King's a fan favorite. If you like wave dashing, you can play with King, Armor King, Mishimas, Jin, Kazuya, Heihachi, DJ Devil Jin, Reina. If you like stance heavy characters, you can play with Samina, Xiao Yu, Feng, Leo, stance heavy, right? If you want to play with, so we got coverweight dashing, grapple, and if you wanted to play with characters with the highest wall carry or combo damage in the game, play with Lars and Victor. So there's multiple ways to get into Tekken in general and learning Tekken. There's multiple ways of going about which character you want to choose. At the end of the day, you want to pick a character you are the most comfortable with and you can vibe with. If you like the character because how they look, like Lily or whoever, go for it. If you want a character to generally learn the game fundamentally or just to have fun or do whatever you want, just pick any character you want. You can literally be good with any character in the game. Because if you understand the general fundamentals of Tekken in general, you can literally play with any character you want in the game. Because it's all similar, pretty much. Everyone's pretty similar a little bit, but not too much. Just the fundamentals of the game. So, and also, in order to help you learn more in the game, you can spar with a friend, spar with people who have more experience in the game. If you want to really test yourself, just start small, play with your friends, then play online. And if you want to really test yourself, just go locals. If you really, really want to take it to a maximum, start doing tournaments, majors, and become one of the best Tekken players in the world. Hey, anything could happen. You never know. But anyway, that concludes the whole Teelee guide. And thank you so much for listening. And join this Tekken journey with me. If you want games, just hit me up. And thank you so much. And bye.